Hello and welcome to the Longturnlarry podcast. I'm the vicious scumbag.
I'm your honorable sensei, Hokage.
And this is the 5-color breakdown of what you doing with your deck, though.
What you doing?
Why are you doing that?
Why you doing that?
Why?
I told you could put that card there. That don't make nan sense.
That's right. If you had joined us for last week's, shout out to the previous episode. And if you had followed along on Moxfield and looked up the cards,
Moxfield.
you would have seen that we talked about green ramp.
Mana.
And we had ended with one takeaway that we wanted to make sure you got. We're going to go back over a couple, but just to make sure, we went over card draw being imperative with ramp.
It's linked.
Interlinked.
Because you're not playing Commander if you're not building any type of value. And to build value, you need some type of card draw or card advantage and some type of ramp.
Interlinked. We went over this briefly, so this is what we're covering today. Some good old card draw, card advantage.
In green.
Oh yeah. Because which would you rather have? Would you rather have all the cards drawn but no mana? Or would you rather have all the mana with no hand?
I think I'd rather take the card draw.
I'd rather take the card draw as well, because I could be drawing into lands.
I might draw into a land. I might sculpt a perfect 7. I might win the game the next turn.
Full grip. So, we're going to be going over some creatures, sorceries, instants, artifacts, enchantments, and a planeswalker. So,
We have no battles here.
no battles. No qualms. We have no battle for you.
Oh, we forgot Planeswalker. Just one.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. So, to start us off, I think it is only right that we talk about what I would think and would be the when I think green card draw.
Oh, is that dude who talks to animals? We would call him Dr. Doolittle.
It's like that, but I think it's more of the fact that he's in harmony with nature.
Oh, no, we're thinking of the wrong guy.
Harmonize. 2 colorless green, draw 3 cards. Where's the downside? You paid 4, you only drew 3. But, I mean, it's just, you paid 4 mana, you draw 3 cards.
So, and green doesn't do this type of card draw ever. This is like the only card that's like, hey, you paid mana, draw some cards.
Yeah, here's the
And
equivalent.
there's no like catch 22. You didn't have a big creature. You didn't have to have a lot of creatures. You didn't cast any spells. You didn't do anything. It's just like, hey, draw 3 cards.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't have to hit you, and you're right. There were all these contingencies. I think this card's great. And again, I want to reference this. Pay attention to your mana costs while you're trying to pick out these cards, and you're thinking like, oh my, if you play a deck and you're burning through your whole hand and you have no card draw, you're going to regret it because you don't have anything to keep going. You're going to lose the stamina on your deck. And then at the same time, we briefly mentioned this. Don't just spin your wheels. So don't just sit there only drawing cards. So it's like we need to find some happy mediums. So let's keep this in mind. Harmonize is still good even after turn 4.
Pretty much, if you have easy to do 9 mana in green and you spent 4 of it drawing 3 cards, that's 3 cards you didn't have before. But I wouldn't just be running Harmonize just to run Harmonize.
Yeah, agreed.
I'd be running it if you're like some type of like spell deck, or there's too many ways in green that you can draw cards doing the things that you want to do anyway. And that's sort of the key for green. It's just like, we're going to pay you off for doing a thing. Usually having a big creature, having a lot of creatures, or playing creatures.
Or the occasional, did you hit him? Did you hit that guy?
You smack man in the face.
Oh, you did? Here's a card draw. There you go. Or here's a treasure token.
Yeah, that's Hunter's Prowess. Until end of turn, target creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw that many cards.
This card has killed me before.
Yeah, and then they drew some cards after it.
Oh yeah.
So
Hunter
Prowess,
I died from the card draw.
Oh, yeah, that can happen sometimes
Yes,
too.
it can.
This one's overcosted. You probably shouldn't be running Hunter's Prowess. There is another card that does essentially the same thing, but you don't get the boost and you don't get trample. Note, this is whenever a creature deals combat damage, specifically combat damage.
Yep.
So if you have like a weird ping thing, this is not going to trigger that. There is a card called Keen Sense that does that. It's whenever this creature deals damage to a player, you get to draw a card. This is not that card, but Hunter's Prowess, if you have the mana to cast it, you might get blown out though.
Yeah.
Like if you're casting this on a creature that doesn't have like Shroud, oh, you can't cast it on a creature that's Shroud, Hexproof or a Ward, or I wouldn't just be running this just to run it.
Also, again, not a one size fits all. Hunter's Prowess didn't make sense in a sapling deck, right? It's like because it's only target creature. It's not like an overrun. And I agree with you. I think it's overcost. I mean, five mana for that effect does feel a little steep. I mean, it's technically, 3/3 trample alone is nice, but I wouldn't pay 5 for that.
Right. Essentially, you're banking on this to give you like a full grip.
Full grip at least.
More than that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not the best card, not the worst card. This is like, hey, I'm gonna add this because I have this card in my binder, and once I go to the card shop, we're gonna get this thing out of here.
Yeah, that's gonna be out real quick. Now, I think a great one for reoccurring card draw. I feel like a great one is Beast Whisper.
Oh, Dr. Doolittle.
Yep, that is actual Dr. Doolittle there. The tiniest mouse speaks louder to me than all the festival crowns on 10th Street.
Is he talking shit about Krinko?
He's like, man, I hate that mob boss.
He's a piece of shit.
Even the tiniest mouse speaks louder to me.
Beast Whisper, whenever you cast a creature spell, cast a creature spell, draw a card. This is like super duper staple.
Yeah.
Like, if you were a creature deck, you're probably playing this. You sort of want to play this if you're casting multiple creatures. You don't want to be like, hey, I'm just going to cast my one big thing and I get to draw a card. That means like all your big creatures are like, draw a card on them. Yeah. You sort of want to cast like 2 to 3 creatures a turn with Beast Whisper and keep accruing that value.
Yeah, it definitely limited itself with the cast trigger. If it said entered, if a creature entered the battlefield under your control, draw a card, this would be like in every combo deck ever. Like that involved green. There'd be no option to not run it.
But we also have Garrick's Pack Leader. He's 1 more mana. Whenever another creature with power 3 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card.
There it is.
Here you go. This is your payoff for doing big green things. Also, you can do blinky things.
Yep. If as long as it's got 3 power or more and you can blink it infinitely. There you go.
Hey, you just lost the game because you did it infinitely. Stop. Baka.
You kind of smell like a baka.
Like a baka.
Yeah,
Garruk's Pack Leader smells like a baka.
You are a baka. You know who also is a baka? It's a very stupid card we talked about last episode.
Ooh, if you were following along, you might know it. It's
Zavala, Heart of the Wild.
boing, 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 boing. Mrs. I love big creatures.
Love them big.
She's got her heart in the right place.
Yeah,
It's wild.
it's crazy.
Yep. This one though, it's funny. I've actually it didn't pop off like how I thought it would pop off.
No.
Because you have to keep increasing.
Yeah, it has to be intense. She's like the stock market. You're not happy unless you made more money than you did before.
Yeah, than the last time. Yeah, exactly. If you make that 30-30 and then you play not a 31, she's like, I don't care about your 28-28.
And then if the other person goes bigger than you, you're just not getting any card draw.
Ugh. Green get out creature? Green sad.
Green sad. Green no get big creature out.
This is a great example of a double-purposed card for what we're talking about. I feel like Zavala might be the perfect one of the more perfect examples.
She's like the Great Hinge, but in creature form.
Yeah, exactly. It's doing everything you want. It's a bad example of this. I know it's not on theme, but I thought you might want to tell people about your favorite green enchantment. It's got 2 effects, and no one ever uses both.
Green enchantment.
Doubling season.
Oh God! Why you even bring that up? I'm so mad.
Because it's a really bad example of a double.
Yeah, because you usually don't want both.
Yeah, we never see anybody running
Hey,
tokens
I
and
just
plus
spent
ones.
$150 on this card for it to be mediocre.
Yeah, it's a more expensive parallel lives.
It takes a lot.
Oh man.
I'm getting triggered. Let's talk about the Great Hand. It's one of my favorite cards. We just alluded to it. Last episode, we talked about how it's 9 mana. Who's casting this for 9? No one's casting this for 9 mana because it reduces its cost equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. So you're playing Zavala and Great Hinge in the same deck, and you're drawing bunches of cards.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And again, this is repeatable, recurring card draw and mana on both.
And Great Hinge is good because it's not on cast that you get the card draw. It's on ETB.
Yep. So any of the ones we've listed, this goes alongside with. It does. Those are probably the 2 greatest. It makes sense. They're probably the 2 most expensive on this list.
Yeah, they want you to go tall. Now, let's talk about sort of going wide, right?
Ooh.
Oron Frostfang and Toski sort of want you to just hit with a creature, but guess what? You're more likely to hit with a bunch of creatures. You're going to be able to draw more cards. So, Oron Frostfang, attacking creatures you control have Death Touch. Ill. Gross. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Toski, this spell can't be countered. Ill. Gross. Indestructible. Ill. Gross. Toski has to attack each combat if able. Ill. Gross. Whenever a creature you control deals combat to a player, draw a card. That's that goodness right there.
Yeah.
I done seen Toski swing with a whole bunch of squirrels and draw a whole bunch of cards.
I love how Oran and Toski are with other decks because they don't just care about themselves. That's the beauty of it here. Toski says whenever a creature you control deals combat damage, you draw the card. Oran says whenever a creature you control deals combat damage, draw a card. The beautiful part about Oran, though, attacking creatures get Death Touch. That is incredible.
Hey,
you want to block?
Green creatures are known for having like trample and stuff.
Oh, you trying. You tried.
Yeah, I'm triggering him.
Oh, he had to get me back for the doubling season. So, this is a beautiful interaction. If you have, I say beautiful, to tilting interaction, if you have trample and death touch, there's a very interesting interaction. Honorable, would you take it away?
So, trample needs you to deal lethal damage, apply lethal damage to that creature. So it sees death touch, you only needing to deal 1 damage to deal lethal to that creature, so you can trample over the other damage because that creature is Omae wa Shinderu, already dead.
Nani? Fist of the North Star. You're about to explode.
Yeah, you're blowing up.
Yeah, you're about to explode. You have enough time to tell me that you're about to explode, and then you explode. Yeah, I did not realize how this interaction worked. It's really beautiful. Trample, if you don't know, for our new players, if a creature has 4 toughness and a 8/8 is swinging at it, 4 damage is blocked, which kills the creature, and then the other 4 damage bleeds over and hits the player. So death touch allowing that interaction to be even stronger, just icing on the cake.
Ice, baby, come on. And Orin Frostfang is a snow creature, so that
oh my gosh, I didn't even notice
better.
that. I didn't even know it was a snow creature.
Right.
Silent as a snowdrift.
So, talking about having a lot of creatures, let's talk about the OG, Big Daddy of card draw, Regal Force.
7-drop, 5/5 elemental.
Whenever it enters the battlefield, you draw a card for each green creature you control.
It's ETB too.
Come on. Every elf deck that I've ever seen in freaking Modern will cheat this thing out, or just cast it. Whatever those elves decide to do with their tricky ways, and you're just gonna draw a fresh hand, if not more than that.
I can see this again being one of those cards towards it's played, and your advantage at that point moving forward is huge, especially if you're building around it and you plan for it. Like, you're going to play it, you're expecting to draw like 15 cards. You have some way of either cheating them out, or I can see this being a huge 1-turn play win game.
What is the card? Sacrifice a green creature, search your library for a green creature, then put it onto the battlefield. I think it's predatory something.
Yes, it's pod. Yeah,
not pod. We're not
pod.
talking about pod.
It's
hold on.
You sacrifice it, then you go get something for that mana
Green
value.
tutors.
Yeah.
Well, that was not how expected it to go. Thank you, Google. I'm gonna find that card, otherwise it's going to bother me. Drum roll, please, for the card that I was talking about. Pattern Rebirth is another one, but it's not that card. The card I was looking for was Natural Order. 2 green as additional cost to cast Natural Order. Sacrifice a green creature, search your library for a green creature, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. You sacrifice 1 of your 36 elves, and then you drew 33 cards as soon as Regal Force entered, because it counts itself. Wow.
Big card draw.
Big card draw. I wouldn't just be playing this if you're only gonna have like 5 creatures out. Nah, this is Big Daddy draw half deck.
Yes. You better be sitting with a reliquary tower. But again, I would rather have a full grip and less mana than have no cards and all the mana in the world. Top decking into gas is fine, but I do like being able to feed that engine a little bit more. Now, you brought this up. What about it's not technically card draw, but it is card advantage.
Oh, in the right type of decks, So we're gonna talk about what I have, like 3 cards here. Satyr Wayfinder. What Satyr Wayfinder? How is this card advantage? Whenever it enters the battlefield, reveal the top card of your library. You may put a land card from among them into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. I didn't hear draw a card or anything. You put a land on top of your library. How? No, you put it into your hand. A little, yeah, you put one land.
Technically, it's a card draw.
Put one land into your hand. How is that card advantage? Well, in certain type of decks that like things in the graveyard, I just put 3 cards into my graveyard. That's delicious.
In theory, you could whiff and put all 4.
No, put a land from among those cards.
Yeah,
into your
reveal
hand.
top 4 cards. In theory, if you reveal 4 creatures, you just put 4 creature cards into the graveyard.
That's not whiffing, because that's exactly what I wanted to happen.
I'm dredging. Okay, this is poor man's dredge.
This is just value town. Every time I get an opening hand with Satyr Wayfinder, and you're a reanimator deck, delicious.
So would you say that you would want someone who's like an eternal witness to what you're doing?
Right. Eternal Witness, when it ETBs, you get to put a card from your graveyard into your hand. That's 1 card. You know what's good about casting a card the first time?
What's that?
Remixing it and playing it again.
What's that?
They're like Disney remakes.
Oh, okay. We didn't say it had that much recursion. That's like flashback.
But yeah, you have to think of these things as card draw as well, because if you're building a deck to where you're interacting with the graveyard, if you have 20 cards in your graveyard, Eternal Witness gets you the best card in the situation you're in out of your graveyard and puts it into your hand.
It technically makes you have a giant hand. That's what I always say when you're playing your Muldrotha deck. Your graveyard is a giant hand. It's not your graveyard anymore.
Yeah, I don't look at my hand and like, there's like
I only
3
have
cards
5
in-
choices.
Oh no, I have like 36.
Yeah, grave shenanigans, I agree. Especially if you have the ability to, like what you're saying, like if you get milled, having the ability to return something back. To say you got counterspelled, bring it back. Say it got removed, you didn't even get to use it. Like having something to come back isn't technically card draw, but it's powerful card advantage. Because you're either recovering from a being hurt, or you're just doing it twice.
Right.
Or even more, because again, Eternal's an ETB. You could flicker Eternal and then, hey, look, Mom, no hands. My old graveyard's back.
Or, you could be playing a graveyard deck and you return Eternal Witness, get a creature for free, and put that thing that you was already going to get back into your hand. Now I have a blocker, or I have something that can be sacked to go get me ridiculous stuff. So, that's why in CEDH, he's talking about CEDH. In CEDH, they don't mill people. Milling people in CDH is probably like the worst thing you can do.
Hey, you're feeding.
Because almost all CDH have really good ways to get things back from their graveyard. That's why I'm going to talk about this next card, Hermit Druid. And that probably made some CDH players just
cringe,
shiver down their spine, because Hermit Druid gets played. If it doesn't die on the next go around, they're going to win the game. So Hermit Druid 1 in a green for a 1/1 summon Druid. It's probably human.
That's how you know it's old.
It's probably human. Green, tap. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a basic land card. Put that card into your hand and put all of the other reveal cards into your graveyard. Oh my goodness.
This is a definite combo. It's part of many.
Yeah,
combos.
this is. Hey, I play a deck that has no basic lands. I'm just going to turbo mill my entire deck into my graveyard, and I have a specific combo with the cards that are in my graveyard that allow me to reanimate Thassa's Oracle and allows me to win the game. This is why I keep saying that Thassa's Oracle will die from the sins of turbo mill.
Yeah, it will. And you know, it's so funny because when you first read it, face value, you're like, oh, it's probably gonna reveal you like maybe like 2-3 cards. You might have a big pocket, and then you're gonna hit, there it is. There's your forest, and then now you get to put that forest into your hand and you self-milled. It's almost like Satyr. And on that level, this is just a decent 2-drop. But like you're saying, I'm running no basics. I explicitly know I'm running no basics. So I tap and go, I'm gonna look for that mountain that doesn't exist.
If you're playing this in your casual deck, you should let people know, hey, I'm running Hermit Druid, but I play basics.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, people like me are going to see this card and freak the fuck out and be like, hey, we need to kill this ASAP.
Yeah,
like,
homeboy can't live.
He can't live.
It's so funny. There's certain cards you find out later they're these massive combo pieces, and you played against them, and people are just like using them for fun.
Yeah, just like, oh yeah, just
casually.
5 cards. I just milled 5 cards. Oh no, this thing's supposed to go like. Brr.
Yeah, it's supposed to go. I play it. Responses.
Yeah.
Responses. Nothing. I win.
That's probably the worst thing you want to hear when playing. It came in response.
Response.
Pass priority.
And then that's when they go, really? Really?
Really?
Also, too, you brought up in CDH, too, just another thing. Like, for those who might not know, CDH also is full of just hatred cards. So, like, graveyard shenanigans can get stopped pretty easy, too. That's the other side of CDH. There's 0-drop, exile all graveyards, and there's a couple of them.
Really, CDH, they play things like...
they normally mill themselves.
Tormod's Crypt and things of that nature. But I wouldn't say that graveyard hate is super prevalent.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like the number one thing, but it's needed. It's needed because of that.
If you're specifically playing a stacks type deck, you're gonna have some hate pieces for graveyards.
I recommend everybody to just run, like, if you have black, like, why aren't you running like Bajuka Bog? Like, there are cards. Graveyard hate's easy. It's normally free. That's the other thing. It's normally really cheap.
The problem with graveyard hate is the person playing the graveyard deck doesn't have a problem. Usually by the time you get your hate piece out, they've already taken everything that was good out of the graveyard.
Oh, yeah.
Out of the graveyard. And you still have a problem on your hand because it's on the battlefield now, buddy.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? You're gonna kill it and then kill it?
Oh, I'm gonna play Sir Conrad. Yeah, exile my graveyard, buddy. You're gonna die.
What's happening?
Alright, so green is really good about playing lands. That's why we like to play this card. He's tirelessly working.
Oh man, he's helping with your package.
Clues.
Looking for your packages.
Right, your Amazon package.
Yep.
Tireless Tracker, 2 colorless and a green for a 3/2. Human Scout Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, investigate. Investigate states that when you investigate, you get a clue token. That clue token can be cracked by paying 2 mana, and you get to draw a card. And whenever you sacrifice a clue, it gets a +1/+1 counter.
Oh, so he or she, it looks like a dude. He gets bigger by you using the clues that he and other things create.
Right. This is more like sort of like the delayed card draw.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you don't need to draw now. It'd be really good if you could draw now. But this one takes some investment. I wouldn't run Tireless Tracker in a deck where you're not doing landfall shenanigans. Because if you're usually doing landfall shenanigans, you've extra mana to spend
Yep.
to crack clues.
I was about to say clues become mana dumps. Yep. Again, why are you running landfall cards when you are a landfall deck? I don't understand this. If your deck doesn't have the ability to bounce, like, let's just put Tireless in like regular perspective. You play him on turn 3, so you can't play another land. Turn 4, you play another land. He's now giving you a land. Are you going to spend half your mana? Oh, yeah, he gave you a clue. You're going to spend half your mana just to get rid of that, so you can draw a card. Now you got 2 mana left over. Like, that's not really in. Okay, now he's a 4/3. Like, ooh, but take the landfall guy for example. He plays him turn 3 and plays a land. I already have a clue. Next turn I play 3 lands. I now have 4 clues, and on the next turn I can crack all of those. This thing is now a 7/6. I just drew 6 cards. Like, big difference. Like, this needs to be played with landfall.
I've actually can't remember a time where I cracked all my clues.
yeah, you always got leftover
You
clues.
always, like, in a landfall deck, you usually is like, oh man, I just, I done fetched 2 times, played a land from my graveyard. I have like 5 clues. I might have like 2 extra mana. I'm gonna crack a clue.
Ooh, piece of
Ooh,
candy.
piece of candy. Oh, you have me.
Yeah,
So,
ooh, piece of candy boy.
we can't talk about green card draw without talking about the archetype that does nothing but draw cards.
Oh man. Oh, and it a lot of card draw. A lot.
If you were playing this archetype and you're not playing green,
Oh man, you were so limited.
You were so sad.
Yeah, you like having restrictions.
Yeah.
You said, you know what? This game needs to be way harder.
You know what? I spit into the wind and it hits me in the face all the time.
Oh, we're talking about enchantresses.
I am talking about enchantresses.
Ooh, I'm sorry, I had to say it.
Oh man, I hate this archetype so much. I really do.
At first I didn't, man, and now I do. Like, I have grown to not like them.
It's no shot to enchantment players. I used to be an enchantment player. Green white all day, baby. It was one of the first decks that I made by myself when I first started playing Magic. But they've created a lot of enchantresses since then. There used to be only like 3.
They keep making them.
And man,
And they keep making them better. That's the other thing. Like, they keep making
like this one, whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield, this one specifically says enter the battlefield. Not all enchantresses do that. Some of them say cast, but this one says enters the battlefield. You put a +1/+1 counter on Setessan Champion and you draw a card.
I know, it's this is an enchantress that can beat you to death. And once again, flickers. Just flick, and then before you know it, it's crazy.
Yeah, enchantment decks. Hey, I have 2 enchantresses. I'm gonna draw 2 cards. I'm gonna play another enchantment. I'm gonna draw another 2 cards. Then I'm gonna play another enchantress. I'm gonna return my enchantments from the graveyard. All right, now I'm gonna draw 16 cards
and then actually 2 enchantresses came out from me playing that. So
because they're also enchantments.
because they're also enchantments. Yeah, they made enchantment enchantresses.
Oh god, I hate this card. I hate this archetype. I hate it so much. It's not because it's bad. It's because it's really good.
Yeah, it's really
to
good.
the point where every enchantment deck builds itself, except for it's got like a little dash of flavor. That's a little bit it.
Yeah. Oh, it's green. It's green, white, and then whatever other color is like. It's
Or green, blue, because green's got enough enchantresses to carry any other color.
it could. It definitely could.
If you're running like white, blue enchantments, I respect it.
Oh, that's the you an OG. You OG white blue.
You OG Bobby Johnson.
OG Bobby Johnson.
So we missed a couple of cards. We were talking about big, strong green things.
Big strong green. It no would do.
In no bounds. So there's a couple of cards I want to talk about. let's talk about Greater Good. Ooh, it is
very powerful.
Man, this card is massive. Greater Good, 2 neutral, green, enchantment. Sacrifice a creature. Draw cards equal to the sacrifice creature's power, then discard 3 cards. Guess what? You're going to draw a lot more cards than you discard, buddy.
Nah, I'm going to use it to sacrifice a 1/1 so I can draw 1 and then discard 3.
I hate myself.
I hate myself. No good. No greater good.
You know what? I'm a madness deck, and I sacrifice 0 ones.
You're a mono green madness deck. Get
Right.
out.
Get out of here. I think there's only one good madness creature, and it's got madness for 0. Root Walla, if anybody knows.
Ooh, shout out to the madness players.
Dredge specifically. Disgusting. Do I need to say more?
Greater good is amazing. You know what I see this as too? I see this as like a reactionary thing. Like, not only do I get card draw, but I can also use this as like, I'm gonna exile that thing. Nope, no, you're not. I'm gonna and now not only did I technically protect it because I can go get it back from the graveyard, I'm gonna draw cards equal to that thing's power. And if it's worth you blowing removal on, chances are in mono big no think it definitely is gonna be you're gonna draw some serious cards from this.
Yeah, do you have this in your Hydra deck?
I do not actually.
Wow.
I know. Reading it and thinking about it, I was surprised I'm not running it.
Yeah, that's sad.
I run like Colossal Fall. There's a couple of them.
Life's Legacy.
Yes, I run Life's Legacy.
1 in a green sorcery as an additional cost to cast this. Sacrifice a creature. Draw a card equal to the sacrifice creature's power. I just drew a whole bunch of cards.
Yeah, that is super.
This one is not reactionary. You have to do it at sorcery speed, but it is so good. There's a dying unicorn, and it's turning into a tree.
Yeah, it is. It is turning into something beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
This one's not even like. Let's just think. You had a 2/2 that died.
Not super big.
You still drew 2 cards. Like,
Yep.
if you think about what is it, Village Rights? This is essentially like Green's Village Rights.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to necessarily be running like a big creature to get value. You just might want to need like things to go to the graveyard, right?
Yeah. Oh, so shout out. This is a quick honorable. You see what I did there? It's a quick honorable mention. So I mentioned it a second ago. Monumentous Fall. It's 2 colorless green. There's additional cost to cast. You sacrifice a creature. This is an instant, so you can do it as a response. Draw cards equal to the sacrifice creature's power, and then gain life to its toughness. Again, super good. Super good
Thought
cards.
you were gonna kill me. I just drew a whole bunch of cards.
Yep, I'm gonna pad that life total, and I'm gonna get my cards back.
Tasty. You know, it's a really disgusting card, and I've seen it win games before. Rishkar's Expertise. 4 colorless, 2 green sorcery. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. You may cast a spell with mana value 5 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. Wow.
Yeah, you recommended this to me originally. You did. That I was not running this in Hydras, and there's another deck I wasn't running it in, but it was a Powers Matters deck.
Right.
Oh yeah, and I wasn't running it. And at first I was like 6 mana, but it's got like a weird
giving you
cascade.
5.
Yeah.
You get to essentially put the best 5 or less card, and sometimes you're not putting a 5-drop. Sometimes you're putting your best 4-drop, 3-drop. Hey, sometimes if you're really slick, you're getting that Eternal Witness back.
Yeah.
Playing that Eternal Witness and getting Rishkar's Expertise back into my hand so I could do it again next turn. How you feel? You better board wipe me again, son.
What's that? I'm doing it for free? Yeah, that's right. I'm doing it for free.
Yeah,
if it's
Eternal
free,
Witness
I'll take
is
2.
remix god.
It is. Take the remix.
Let's talk about some remix cards.
Ooh.
Noxious Revival. We're going to speed through these. Phyrexian green. That means you can pay it for two life. Put target card from a graveyard onto the top of its owner's library. This isn't just for you.
Yep.
This can be a denial card.
Yes. Or it can be I can't remember what the term for it is, where you pretty much force someone to, it's like stalled. Like you're stalling them.
Hey, know that card that you
Tempo.
tutored for at the end of your turn? I'm gonna put this land on top.
Yep, I'm gonna tempo you. I'm gonna tempo you down because you are trying to get ahead of me and I'm not about it.
Don't like it. Reclaim. Almost, I think it's the OGG. Green mana, instant, but target card from your graveyard on top of your library. This one is specifically you. Hey, guess what? At the end of your turn, right before my turn starts, reclaim, put it on top, draw it again, cast it again.
These are instants. Please take advantage of the fact that if it is for you, do it on the turn right before your turn. That way, this really translates into, I spent 2 life or a green mana, and I get that thing back.
And then for the last one, regrowth. 1 colorless and a green. It's a sorcery. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. It's really not all that efficient, but when you need that card on this turn, it will put it back in. Back into your hand.
Yes. Again, if you haven't encountered a mill player, it's coming, and I promise you're not ready for it. And then at the same time, too, as we stated before, being able to do some of these things twice or to get back something you lost is invaluable. Your deck being able to bring those things back, this is Commander. You don't have multiple copies. So you're only going to have that. It's like a one-shot. It's like a one-shot use. If it didn't do it, it's gone.
Almost forgot. This is a new card. This could be for your landfall players, or, it's a regular. Conduit of Worlds. Reminds you of a card. That's right, Crucible of Worlds. But it's green now. 2 colors, green. Artifact. You may play lands from your graveyard. Ooh, what's that? Am I getting value from my graveyard again? It's sort of like it's a reoccurring thing that keeps happening in green.
See what you did there.
Then you could tap it. Choose target non-land permanent in your graveyard. If you haven't cast a spell this turn, you may cast that card. If you do, you can't cast additional spells this turn. Activate only at sorcery speed.
I love this card, and I am mind blown that it's not more expensive. I'm mind blown that it's not more. Crucible of Worlds is still like $80.
No, it's not.
It's not. Is it finally price dropped?
It's super cheap now.
Is it? Okay. Well,
let's go
wasn't.
ahead. Let's go ahead and look it up for the viewers.
Ooh.
Crucible of Worlds. It said Bruce.
Bruceable of Worlds.
Shut up. Shut up. All right, maybe we're not.
Oh, it's $20. It's $20. It's $20 to $24. I see it. So it did price drop, but still, what's funny is this Conduit of Worlds is only $4. It's still way cheaper.
$4.
You may play lands from your graveyards. Crucible only says that. Don't get me wrong, Crucible's colorless, and I get it. I can already feel artifact players like vigorously.
How many lands you playing from your graveyard, really, artifact player?
Exactly, and at the
you
same,
got 36 mana rocks and no card draw engine.
My mirror galvanizer required.
No, I think Conduit's allowing you to get like a Muldrotha effect. And yeah, you can't cast more things, but do you notice what it said there? You can't cast additional spells. So you can still do a lot of stuff around that. Like that doesn't just mean like, oh, I'm limited to just one thing.
How about you do all the other things first and do this thing last?
Perfect. You don't even have to see. Okay. That's a great example right there of being like, here's a really simple way. And my rat trying to get to the cheese just broke the walls down. It was like, be cheat, be. Okay. Yeah. No. Agreed. Conduit of Worlds last makes way more sense. Amazing card.
Amazing.
Another one. We're just gonna say it again. The Great Hinge. Buy it.
Buy it.
Go get you a great hinge.
So, the other thing that green does is we do have like cantrippy cards that are just like, hey, do an effect, draw a card.
Yep.
I think every color has like cantrips, but green probably has the best FU card of all time to two specific colors. Oh my goodness, I love this thing, man.
And it's cheap. It's 1 mana.
Veil of Summer. Green.
Yep.
Instant. Draw a card if opponent has cast a blue or black spell this turn. Word. Spells you control can't be countered this turn. You and permanents you control gain hexproof from blue and black until end of turn. Brother, that is a hate piece, okay?
Yes, it is. This is such a funny include. It's in theory card draw, but it's like we said earlier, green is never in the business of being like, oh, you gave me a mana? Here, draw a card. Green's always like, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do for me?
Exactly.
It's like, oh, your opponent cast a blue or black spell. Nice. You should use Veil of Summer.
What have you done for me lately? It's green.
Yeah, exactly. Was that creature big enough? No, it wasn't. You don't
Did
get
you
card
make
draw.
enough creatures?
Did you hit him?
Did you sacrifice something?
Yeah, you better smack him next time. Did you cast it? Oh, you didn't cast it? Shame.
I think there's only one more card that I want to talk about, and this is an OG. OG. It's a lot of real life mana, aka money. Sylvan Library.
I knew this was the card. If you've been watching our episodes, this is on the episode of That's the Cards I Don't Like, the Chief Keef episode. I hate Sylvan Library.
Sylvan Library, at the beginning of your draw step, you may draw 2 additional cards. If you do, choose 2 cards in your hand drawn this turn. For each of those cards, pay for life or put those cards on top of your library. This card makes no sense.
Until it's in use.
The way the card works, hey, you go to your draw step, look at 3 cards on top of your library. Do you want those in your hand? You're going to have to pay 4 life for each of them. If you don't, put them back on top of your library. Oh my goodness.
I understand how powerful this
Full
card
send.
is. It's full send.
Full send. The first time you play this card, you take 8.
Yeah, eat it. Eat the
Eat
damage.
Eat it. You get to see more cards. You don't want to look at those 2 lame cards that you kept on top. I don't care. They're both lands. Get those lands out the way so you can see better cards the next time.
Remember, your life is a resource. You have the ability to use it as such. I see a lot of people pretend like, like if they get hit and they're at 38, they're going to lose. It's like, you don't have to be that defensive. Like, you can use your life as an actual resource. Green doesn't really use it too much, but other colors we'll get into later definitely do.
And if somebody has the Sylvan Library, hit them. Hit them. Hey, you gonna draw them 2 cards extra? Okay.
I'm gonna smack you. I'm gonna smack you for them
Take
cards.
6. You gonna do it?
Yeah, you're gonna pay 8 still.
You still going? Okay.
The reason why I don't like this card, you should watch the previous episode to see why. But I'll just tell you. Psych, I ain't telling you. You gotta go listen to the other episode.
Pussy on my 21 Savage.
21. It's a knife. So I got some closing thoughts. I thought you might want to also have someone on this one as well. So we're giving you guys some good examples of versions of everything. It's a creature, it's a sorcery, it's an instant, it's an artifact, it's an enchantment. We have versions of all of these things to achieve what we've been talking about, card draw and ramp. That was the previous episode. So what we are going to do is we're going to kind of give you guys overviews. Once we go through this, we're going to give you some overviews of like when and not to use these things. I feel like that'd be a nice one. But That's only if you guys are into it. So we want to make sure we're following along to see where you guys feel like you're lacking and where that information so you can have longer turns gets to come into play.
Yeah, because your enemies having longer turns than you, that's cringe.
That's very cringe.
Cringe. It's
my job.
You should be doing more than them at all times, even on their turn.
Even on their turn. Mostly on their turns.
Exactly.
They need to question whose turn it is. If they don't ask whose turn is it right now, you're like, oh, it's technically his.
Yeah, I'm really okay. I passed turn. Wait. At the end of your turn, this, and this. Okay, now you could pass the turn.
You're gonna be like, where'd you learn that? Oh, well, I learned it watching the
Longturnlarry podcast.
You heard it here first,
bitch.